Alright, your next comic coming to the stage. He is a regular at Zany's Nashville. Please give it up for Mikey P, everybody!
What's up, y'all? Alright, I'm excited to be here. I'm from here. I'm from Columbus. And we're here for a couple days. So I'm like being able to like catch up with people, you know? Like talking to people I haven't spoken to in forever. Like people I went to high school with. Including the first girl to ever give me a blowjob. That's pretty sweet. I think she must have saw the flyer and remembered my name. And she like DM'd me. She was like, "Are you doing a show in Columbus?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm so excited. I'm gonna come." Which is weird, because that's exactly what I said to her in high school. Like social media though, that's fucking shit's crazy. It's crazy that we can all be connected like that. And not just like people you know, but like complete strangers. Like you can have a meaningful interaction with somebody you'll never meet. Like I follow this account on Instagram called Chicago History. And the other day they posted a question, like a text question. And they asked, what instantly ruins a bowl of chili? And I commented, being molested. And someone commented on my comment and was like, oh yeah. I can see how that would ruin a bowl of chili. And then a third person entered the chat and was like, well, hold on. Were you molested before or after you had the bowl of chili? Which is a good point, you know. You don't want to be gassy on the big night. Oh no. Oh no. It's crazy. It's crazy to see how much Columbus has changed since I lived here. Weed is legal now. That's pretty cool. We have any weed? What potheads? I'm a pothead. I'm a middle-aged pothead. Yeah. And that's but that's not like the best combination. Especially with how like crazy technology is, you know? Like sometimes I get stoned and I'm on my phone. I get a little confused. Get myself in a hairy situation, you know? Like the other night I was really in the mood for a hot Italian sub. So I went on Grindr. Oh shit, that was quick. Angelo's already 50 feet away. Then after I fucked that dirty Italian guy, I was like, I could really go for a sandwich. I could go for a sandwich a lot. I could go for anything really. Sandwich. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get pizza after the show. I gotta stop. I'm gaining a lot of weight. And I'm getting older, and that's, you know, it's harder to lose weight, you know, and I don't know what to do. Because I can't do the things that I used to do, like when I was younger. Like, I hang out with a lot of younger comics, and I overheard them the other day talking about playing pickup basketball. And I love basketball. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go over there and ask if I can join their game. And I took one step and my ankle gave out on me. It was like my central nervous system like heard what I planned to do and just immediately shut that down. It's like, what's he wanna do, play basketball? No, fuck that shit. Let's go ahead and open up the pain receptors on his right ankle. That should remind this piece of shit how old he is. And you know what, let's give him a bout of diarrhea too while we're at it. Man, I'm getting old. I'll tell you who's old, my parents. These people are ancient. My parents are in their 80s. It's insane. It's such a fun age. Because they're so small and they're like children. You know, their food is soft. They're amazed by tall people. And if they get ornery, I just put on a movie. And it usually chills them out. They're big MCU fans. Not Marvel, Medea. They love those movies. But it's funny because their brains are like mush. And you can kind of put anything in there. And like last time I was here, we were watching TV and Stevie Wonder was on the television. And I don't know why I did this, but I was like, isn't it crazy that that guy has been faking being blind this whole time? And my parents like looked at each other, and then they looked at me, and I was like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, when he was like a kid, starting out in the music industry, he needed a gimmick, and he told a booker he was blind, and it stuck, but that guy can totally see. And now my parents think that Stevie Wonder is faking being blind. And I know this because a couple days later, my friend called me, and he was like, hey, did you tell your parents that Stevie Wonder is faking being blind? And I was like, yeah, why? And he's like, they told my parents. And that's how QAnon happens, folks. Because what are they going to do? They can't Google it. They don't. My dad thinks Hulu's a planet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They're sweet people, though. I try to get up here as often as I can, but I try to get up here for the major holidays. I was unavailable for Easter this past weekend, but I was here for last Easter, and that was a disaster because it rained like the entire time, and particularly on Good Friday. And so we were just stuck in their condo, and at some point my mom walked up to me and she was like, Mike, it's always terrible weather on Good Friday. Do you know why? And I was like, no, why? And she was like, because that's the day that they killed Jesus. I was like, okay, sweet. My sweet elderly mother has found yet another way of saying that the Jews control the weather. Speaking of Easter, I was reading this article about a priest who was talking to his congregation, and he was like, due to the blood flow going down, when Jesus died on the cross, he most likely had an erection. Okay. Why don't we just stick to the scripture during the podcast? What is he doing material? What are his other sermons? He's like, did you hear about Jonah? Well, apparently he got stuck inside a whale. And I'm not talking about his wife. I'm married, by the way. Married. I've been married 3 or 4 years. I'm not really sure. We'll look it up after the show. And marriage is tough. Just to be honest, my wife and I were already in couples counseling. And this is how tough marriage is. At our last session, right at the top, the counselor was like, I feel like I need to be honest with you guys and let you both know that my wife and I are getting a divorce. And I was like, all right, sweet. Finally, this guy's going to be on my side. But I don't know, we're trying. Here's the thing, I'm bad at sex. I'm terrible. Really bad. And he's trying to help us with our intimacy issues. And he was telling me, he was like, Mike, he's like, you gotta talk to your wife like you gotta keep it spicy, you know? Talk to her like you're trying to pick her up at a bar. And I was like, all right. So my wife and I were in bed, and I looked over at her and I was like, ma'am, do you come here often? And she was like, not when you're here. Then we tried role playing, fantasy stuff. We tried the old school fantasy of playing doctor. That's where she diagnosed me with ED. That's where I learned women can be doctors. It's a crazy world. But my wife was like, let's role play a little bit, She was like, tell me, what kind of porn do you watch? Whack that out. And I was like, well, I really like realtor porn. Any RP heads? My wife was like, she was like, can't you like regular pornography? And I was like, I don't know if any of you have been on the hub lately, but there is no more regular pornography. It's all gross. It's all like step-sibling stuff or videos titled, "Watch me drink jizz out of my first communion cup." I thought the book was better. And like realtor porn, it's pretty mainstream. It's like on CBS. And it's POV, it's at a house showing. The real estate agent's a hot chick. And my wife was like, all right, yeah, I got it. Why don't you go wait outside of our one-bedroom apartment and give me a few minutes? So I step outside in the hallway, give her about 10 minutes in, and knock on the door. She opens the door. She's changed clothes. She looks incredible. She's put on a blouse. It's undone to here. She's got a real short skirt on. And she's looking at me and she's like, you must be my 3:30 appointment. I'm like, I am. And she's like, come on in. So I'm walking in. I'm playing along, I'm like, oh my God, this is a beautiful house. And she's like, yeah, it's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, and I came immediately. Turns out I have a square foot fetish. All right, y'all have been great. Thanks so much. Let's get Zach back up here. My name's Mike. Great to see you, folks.
Mikey P, one more time, everybody!